Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to glorious, beautiful Bruges. Tom's Tourney 2025 continues on this fine Friday morning, and we're getting started with some Open Division 2 action. We have the Belgian U20 Open side taking on Malmö Open from Sweden. You could not really ask for better ultimate conditions. It's a little bit cooler than yesterday, mercifully I think for many in attendance. And I am Benji Reese, joined by Steph Rapazzo. Steph, how are we doing this morning?
I'm doing just fantastic, Benji. Despite my name not being there, I am here.
Yeah, you are. I was going to say you are very much here.
Having a lovely morning, Benj. It's great to be here. Excited for some Div 2 action. We don't get to see too much of what's happening in Open Div 2 here on the stream, but we do give them a morning run, and we'll get the final at the end. So we make the most of it, and we get the kids, we get the local youngsters, the Belgian under-20s taking on Malmö. They're both kind of neck and neck, 2-1 each. Both have taken wins. And this, there's actually air support in the division, in that pool as well, that are 2-1. So all three of them jostling. Bordeaux out in front, undefeated. So pretty important game to see who comes in the top two and the direction of progression. So Belgian under-20s have won by slightly bigger margins, but we're talking quite similar on the one common opponent.
Well, they've got
in fact, they have two common opponents.
They do indeed. And Belgium U20 had a rollicking win, 15-2 over Copenhagen, whereas Malmö only won that game 15-7. And we know the transitive property does not quite apply to Ultimate in the way that we think that it should, but certainly that would maybe put the Belgian U20s as favourites. They're wearing the red, and it's the white jerseys for Malmö who are starting the game on offence.
It gives us some indication of what to expect. That's all.
I reckon this could be a very evenly matched contest, Steph. So far, man, we're just working it around the back. Oh, that one lasered out of the hand and did not give really much of a chance for Fredriksson to catch it.
Yeah, Almstrom got a bit excited. The upline throw was too far in front. I liked the option. It was open.
So underway now. Sliding grab made after a little bit of a trip. Don't know, back into the backfield, past the middle defender. Now they're looking for some throw and go motion. Working it towards the far side, and the strike into the end zone for the Belgian score gets them on the board with the game's first point.
A De Craan scoring a goal for Belgium?
That face looks vaguely familiar, Seth. I thought they were too old for this division.
Nah, well, they are. This is the next generation. Staff De Craan, another young legend, and I had the pleasure of doing a coaching clinic with him in Portugal not long ago. His brother Lander was there as well. And Staff is an absolute unit of an athlete. He's a kid who was, a little bit out of shape and not, just an undeveloped body in his youth, we'll say.
Yes.
A year and a half ago, you'd see the two De Craan brothers and their little brother kind of kicking along with them, and he was just their little brother. And then a year and a half go by, a growth spurt, and he hits the gym, and the kid is an absolute beast now. And look out for him on the scene for the rest of this game and for a very long time to come.
Yeah, one of those ultimate families that there seem to be many of in Belgium. You might recognise a few of the other names on the roster, although he's not playing today. He's in the sideline in trainers and jorts, but Ramon van Kwali is also on the roster, and anyone who spent any time around Belgian Ultimate will recognise his dad with the great big bushy beard.
Oh, yeah. Yellard.
And his sister, Juliette, as well. Another promising young Belgian star. Cheeky little lefty dish. Then opening it up, the big backhand huck. It's got speed, it's got precision, but it's not quite in the end zone just yet. Berger finds the player slashing across the end zone. Viggo Oskarsson, clean hold that time for Malmö. They're on the board and level at 1 apiece.
A good change of direction in the end zone by Malmö there. Hitting the sideline. I think it was almost a confusion of what the force was for the Belgian defense once they got into the end zone. Because you see the bounce to the sideline there. The force goes on, forces forehand, and the cross here is wide open. And a bit of a missed assignment to be able to get back to the cover side of the assignment and left it wide open in the middle of the end zone.
I'm going to test your European geography, Steph. Do you know about where Malmö is?
It's in Sweden.
Yes, it is. It's at the very south of Sweden.
Yeah, just over the water, and now that body of water I may not be able to come up with the name of, from Copenhagen.
Yes, correct.
Do you know what the body of water is?
Not off the top of my head. But yes, it kind of shields off the Baltic Sea from the North Sea. And yes, I think very often if people want to visit Copenhagen, it's not unheard of to see them actually stay in Malmö because it's a damn sight cheaper. As that time, looking for a flick towards this near side. Miscommunication there with Staff de Krona.
Oresund looks like the name of the body of water in between Malmö and Copenhagen.
And so that means Malmö going to pick up with a really good break opportunity now. Sabo.
Ooh, again. Now, I don't know if they were flexing on that. That's a big break, Benj.
It is indeed.
I don't know if they were flexing and surrounding the stack there, but whatever happened, nobody came out again on the open side lane, and that's 2 in a row where Malmö have been able to throw to wide open receivers in the end zone. So
yeah, it does
Belgium
look to me like
correct that.
Like they are trying to clamp that stack in the end zone, so they've got players surrounding it on either side. But as you mentioned, they just run hard and run straight through it. And they don't adjust the body position quickly enough there. And as a result, it's an easy blow past for Malmö for the score. You see it on the replay. They've got one player sat on the break side, and they do a very good job of isolating that, saying, okay, this means you're active. And they're trusting that the player who's who's staying on the open side, marking someone else, isn't going to be able to come across and pick up that cut in time, which was a gamble that paid off. You've got to be aware if you're that player who is marking on the break side that you need to be very vocal about, okay, this is yours now. Great pull from Malmö. Going to box the Belgians in at the back of their own end zone. Just going laterally to start. Going back on surf now after that Malmö break. Utilising a little bit of handler motion to get, some space, but not a huge amount. Another bid from the Swedes. Now they're beginning to roll. Fired downfield. You can see the centre circle marked out from the football pitch that is normally here. And I must say, this has looked a very assured possession from the Belgians, who seemed unflustered by that starting field position. Short one there. And then the Belgians, they do like to open it up towards the back of the end zone. They stretch the legs and they reel it in for the score. That's Stern Ongenes to make it 2 apiece.
Nice response by the Belgians. I loved the way the possession opened up on their own side of the field, the wide side. They really broke open some space. They had wide open looks to throw to, and as the field condensed and the defense tightened with it, they sucked everybody in, and this one up the line, another cut that got opened up. That's a great look at the opening on that. What an angle, and what a throw to finish.
So 2 apiece here early on this Friday morning here, day 2 of Tom's Tourney, running Thursday to Saturday this week, which is a little unorthodox and has certainly taken some getting used to, but I mean, we picked perfect weather for it. Mercifully slightly cooler than yesterday, so just in the low rather than the high 20s. You can hear the shouts from the sideline, a forced middle coming from the young hosts. Just trying to funnel everything into the centre where there's all that traffic. Threatening the big shot there is Edgaard. Instead the leading pass, oh that's too far. Forced middle worked to treat there, Steph. Just slowed them down.
Yeah, it slowed him down, got him a little confused, got him guessing, and an errant throw the result.
Stoppage downfield.
An injury called while on the ground.
It's never a good sign.
Up gingerly.
Didn't see quite what happened, but it looks like everyone's good to go. Backhand fake looked off. And then trying to find the middle of the field. Good sag by the handler, Mark, on the far side to cloud the space, but they have De Creener on this near sideline now. Backhand. Tied down inbounds by Mullion. And Belgium flowing nicely towards the end zone. They could have had the little force in there, chose not to. Now it's up to De Creener to get free in a phone booth. Is it? No! The hand block came in and stuffed the Belgians right on the goal line.
It looked like they had all sorts of options at first. Stef De Creener had a chance at it, but the handout there by Malmö gave him the disc, but that has reversed its fortunes once again.
Yeah, straight back into Belgian hands. And this game continues to swing back and forth with neither side really able to assert control as yet. Again, they're trying to get De Creener free with that isolation, and as soon as the defender overcommits, De Creener bounces that back outside, the lead pass to space, and Belgium with a break. And they get that break train rolling, Steph.
The Belgians love their break train. It's a national custom, at least the cheer for it. I think everybody wants that to be a national custom. But there is the gift back to Belgium. I think the hand block was a huge takeaway, but the D-line was unable to get generating. Just a little bit of jitters, those kind of drops early in the possessions, early in the game too. Seeing it to ground, unable to just have full focus for the small things at this stage. And great finish. Stef De Creener, a magnet for the end zone. Again, that's like a bit of a family trait for the De Creeners.
Yeah, they're certainly not shy of getting involved in the action. I'll say that much.
They get amongst it.
That ball is going to land way out of bounds, and an opportunity then for Malmö to bring it from the brick mark. Liam Fredriksson to do the honours.
Malmö quite a distance from Stockholm even too, and Gothenburg.
Yeah, they're a lot further north, aren't they?
Yeah, way further north.
Again, my Swedish geography is not superb, but I sort of have a rough lay of the land. This is a nice possession here from Malmö, working their way into the red zone. Can they prevent themselves getting stalled and bogged down? Trying that handler movement, and then the break side flow worked an absolute treat. Marcus McLean with the score for Malmö to tie us at threes.
How's that flutter spike out of McLean? The catch was clean, the spike was a little dirty. But the catch was the more important part here. The spike is just the residual show. But Malmö, great response. Let's have another look here.
Yeah, obviously the score is the cake and the spike is just the slightly smudged icing on top.
Yeah, nice toe.
Yeah, very good awareness there from McLean.
6.5 hour drive from Malmö to Stockholm, Benji. That is not neighborly.
It's not close, no.
No. Sweden's bigger than you think sometimes.
I don't know. I think it's pretty big.
Okay, then maybe it's as big as you think.
But, I mean, Sweden is a nation with a phenomenal ultimate history.
Back in the Skogs days, and I think coach Mattias Algren was, for a short time, part of the Skogs.
Yeah, thinking about other clubs like Vitchefors as well.
Yeah.
At the moment, you've got clubs like Örebro.
Valkyria in the women's division.
There's a lot of talent in that part of the continent.
No, most certainly.
Travel called and feet quickly reset. Going with the hammer to access this soft spot on this near side. Short option taken. And then the quick little pivot around just to open up enough of a crease to find the backhand to space, and it's Staff to clear it again, who's their favourite end zone target to put Belgium on top once more.
Well, he's only got 3 of their 4 goals. I say only in jest. 3 of their 4 goals, Staff to Kren. But I like Delanote's calm and presence of mind as he got that disc just outside of the end zone. You know, squared himself up, squared shoulders and hips. Here he is. He comes under, and then eyes up on Staff from this moment already. He's isolating and ready, and just Staff waits for the traffic to clear up, makes the cut into some clean space, and easy to get the throw around at that stage.
Something else that some of these players may have to grapple with is that there's quite a high pollen count at the moment.
A high pollen count?
Yes. Which you might be able to detect in my voice.
A little sniffly, Benj.
It's a bit more nasal than I would ideally like it. So apologies for any sniffling and snivelling that
we'll do our
you might hear on the
best
broadcast.
To fix Benji.
Yes, I would very much like to breathe.
Zone by the under-20s.
Yeah, of course, under-20s. You do want to do as well as you can this weekend, but the focus, the priority, is going to be EYUC later this year. Berger has to take a reset, and they're trying to continue it around into the centre. This gives them both sides to attack down. Happy to use the wider swings rather than having the easy little dump release valve.
Uh-oh.
Well weighted flick over the top to McLean, and now sending it to the end zone, and a relatively nonchalant one-handed snag for Hugo Berger makes it 4 apiece. This is a very well-matched game, Steph.
Yeah, indeed it is. Well balanced. They're going toe-to-toe here. I was watching the back couple rows there of the Belgian zone, and they were pretty happy to be keeping people or allow players to drop behind on both layers. The second row, and this is where it got exposed, but there's 3 players there in the second row. None dropped back to help, and the deep was already with 1. The deep started guessing, bit a little bit on that first one, and then it left the 2 wide open continuation. There you see the bite, and then how open the receiver on the far side of the field became. So they got to do a bit better with the communication and a lot better with switching off to whoever's behind on both layers of the zone.
But this is where you've got to try it out, test it, refine it, make any adjustments you need. Getting ready for the Malmö pool. Sabo delivers downfield. This is a deep pull, maybe too deep. In the end, it was going to drop in bounds, so Belgium again having to field from the back of their own end zone. Little Oyo there before faking the big flick. They're going with it again. Hands underneath it from the Belgians, already beyond midfield. An ambitious leading flick. He's got the speed to chase it along the grass. Beautifully weighted throw. Have to say, that was slick, smooth offense from these young Belgians.
Yeah, that was beautiful. That
It
throw
was, wasn't it?
Was, you know, we were both waiting a little bit there, like, okay, that acceleration's coming, right? And it did. And you know, those throwers know each other. Those players know each other much better than we know what they're going to do. But this inside throw coming in here, like, boom, step down, that super low release, beautiful form and mechanics in that throw. And that's what you get, a perfect float to the back of the end zone. Only one player able to get there, and that's the player wearing the same color shirt as you, the thrower.
I think you're right to call out the mechanics there, because he's playing it in such a way that means, look, if it's my receiver or it's no one, there's not a chance the defender's going to get this. But he sees the space and he doesn't get lazy with it. Still focusing on throwing it properly. That's a really good pull as well from the young lads, and now they're trying to ratchet up the pressure. They can maybe feel a Callahan coming. Malmö, to their credit, don't seem bothered at all. Fredriksson, little floater downfield to Edgren. Fredriksson back again, pump fakes the backhand. Centering pass, nice rising grab by Otto Edgren once more. Fredriksson to the near side where Oskarsson bounces it back to him. Just trying to throttle this Malmö offense a little bit. Huge flying bid and good catch in the face of contact from McLean. Belgium again operating with a forced middle, just trying to funnel things into the teeth of the defense. A little slash to this near side. Berger with the leading pass to Fredriksson, 5 apiece. And for all of our maybe slight consternation about the potential slate of games in this first slot this morning, I have to say, this is turning into a little bit of a sizzler.
Yeah, it's an absolute banger. It is sizzling away like we expect tonight's barbecue will go.
I'm so glad you picked up what I was putting down there. Thank you.
I'm with you every step of the way, Bench. But this was an offensive possession that took a little while to get going, and the further downfield they got hotter. You mentioned in the possession how nice the pull was. They had him pinned back. I think, as you were saying, they're thinking about smelling the Callahan potential. There was a little bit of looking around. I saw one of the covers in the back corner. Seeing them come down, feeling this excitement that they're in a good position, but then they're looking at each other, and Malmö just said, okay, let's put on the Jets. They got out of trouble quite quickly, and then once they got going, they stayed going.
So the pull drops just in bounds, and then on the first pass, the reset, a big hand knocks it away from Sundström. Andreasen on the end zone line, back to Sabo. Just showing the flick, putting it out into space. Easy as you like. Malmö bring it back on serve with the break there into the hands of Almström.
It's just one more time the Belgian under-20s have surrounded a stack and not switched off on the first open side cutter coming out. And that's too easy for Malmö to be able to score like that. If they can feel this flex around them and still just come out with one cutter, they're not even flooding. They don't have to send the second cutter. They just send the first one out and get an open throw on the open side. Well, life's going to get very easy for them if they can keep doing that. Here's the exit again. You see all the red shirts in the picture, but it's the white shirt who ends up on that side open.
I think I like the idea. I like the philosophy behind what they're doing. Trying to be a bit more proactive, but some of the other open side defenders have to recognise that cut is coming and bail out to stop the space and pass off their player as the player they were marking to someone else.
That's exactly it. If you're gonna wrap around like that, like there is no my player, especially on the first cut, second cut. It's like just any player that comes out, deny the space.
But I like the fact that they're not being like, okay, we'll just go one-on-one, nice and easy. They're trying to think a little bit more about how we're attacking these and how we're breaking them down. Clear out to the near side, faking it down the sideline and resetting central instead. Delanotta runs a little 1-2 with Panamans. I like that they're using the real width of the field here. Inside, oh, that's a floater. Well tracked and well reeled in. And then just trying to keep things moving. Don't want to get bogged down at all and let the Malmö defense set. This is a good opportunity, though. Creates a nice angle with that pivot. Lene. To Panamans, who fakes down the sideline using that lefty angle. Lovely little leading pass there to Delanotta. And then into the end zone, Staff declare again to make it 6 apiece. This has been a very engaging tactical contest, Steph.
Has it ever? They're giving a little bit of everything. They are changing it up. You know, both these sides are youth sides. Malmö's not restricted by an age division as such. They've got a little bit more range. They've got some veteran players on that team, but still, you know, majority of youth players over there on the Swedish side. And it's great to see that they are able to adapt and employ all these different looks, these different ways in. The one constant here for Belgium under 20 is Staff de Kran is catching goals.
Here's a little question for you. Who does Staff remind you of more, Lander or Toba?
Well, I had this conversation actually with the brothers, and Staff is way more Lander. He's got both, but to me, now I think I'm talking personality a bit more, because I think player-wise, he's a bit more Toba.
I was thinking he plays a bit more like Toba, but I think certainly he looks a bit more like Lander.
Yeah, but acts and talks and everything, he's a bit more Lander.
I can definitely see that. Decent little crowd developing here for the home nation side, and that one jumps into the end zone. Signalled goal. Good strike deep there from Otto Edgren.
7-6, Benz. We're inching our way towards a high potential for a Galaxy point here. Certainly towards halftime as such. Another great response. Big yards taken. The Belgians say, yeah, that's in. It was very much on the goal line. That wobbler I didn't notice in real time. But how about that throw?
It's a really nicely cushioned flick hook, I think.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't bang it. He just... yeah, lays it out into space. (7-6) Malmö leading on serve. Belgium have gone ahead a couple of times with breaks, but Malmö have earned them back. We've not seen either side really put a long run together. It's been very evenly matched. It's made for an engrossing contest.
I am engrossed.
And it's always tricky, you know, for second morning of a tournament, normally you think, you know, players might be a little bit groggy. I think, in a way, the fact that it was a hot day yesterday maybe, in a way, has worked in some teams' favour, because it meant they're all very sensible and got an early night, because everyone, judging by the faces I saw yesterday, our crew included, was a little bit fatigued by the heat.
Yeah, the heat got to them, and there were less people hanging around having a late-night libation last night at around 8:30. More than 80% of the crowd were gone.
Although I will say that I'm sure the young charges on this team certainly would not have been doing that anyway.
No.
Very responsible.
Well, there are non-alcoholic libations as well.
That is true. You could enjoy a sports zot. Oh, my word. What a hammer. Deep towards the end zone, and that's well defended, but a foul called. I did wonder at what point Belgium were going to start being more Belgium.
Immediately contested. I thought he did a pretty good job to avoid body contact and get the touch there, to be honest.
I think I'm with you. But they've clearly said, okay, let's just agree to disagree and get back on it.
Back. I do like how quickly he said that in hindsight after watching it.
And, yeah, I imagine that hammer's going to be shelved for the meantime. There, however, is the D that Malmö were after. Opportunity to break into half. Your Galaxy Point dreams might be denied. Andreasen picks up to start. Screaming for it on this near side is Chen. Being forced back at the moment, the Swedes. Chen again looking downfield. There's a nice gainer across the halfway line. Trying to find the strike to Sabo, and it's overthrown. Opportunity lost.
Opportunity loss. Maybe the highest turnover point of the game thus far. And right before half, these are the big moments. The practice for Universe Point is available, but it will take a Belgium hold from here on out.
Zipping the disc around nicely. That one's low, but scooped. I was going to say, they have this poach in the backfield, wide open. Sabo is very much trying to gum up the lanes downfield. Pity. To Panama, as I can see an earring sparkling in his right ear. Nice gainer on the near side. Van Tine putting it deep on a line. Unorthodox option, but it worked. Now Ongenate. Stalkout going to be ticking up. And then jammed into that front cone to Panamans, who I must say, having seen at previous WJUCs and JJUCs, he's got a bright future ahead of him as well, the young lad.
Well, we've got a bright future ahead of us right now,
with a Galaxy Point.
That's what I'm talking about.
What a way to start the day. I'm not sure we got a Galaxy Point all day yesterday.
No, I had a false Galaxy Point at one stage because I was still in beach mode. But a real one, I believe you are correct. We did not get one. So we're off to a flying start for a, what day is it? Friday morning. Day 2 of Tom's, but because of that incredible showcase game on Wednesday night, opening night between under 24s, Belgium and Italy, it feels like we're into day 3 here a little bit.
Yeah, and yet somehow, yes, day 3, but it's a Friday, which is,
day 1.
Normally day 1. So my internal tournament body clock, it's all out of whack.
Totally. Galaxy Point bench.
You can see the Belgian sideline getting loud, trying to ratchet up the noise and tick up that pressure. Edgren tries to think about squeezing it down the line. That's really smart. He saw the double coverage on that and hit the inside option that was freed up there to Fredriksson. Edgren again, centered. Now around, brilliantly weighted around as well into the end zone, and Malmö will take this first half 8-7. A really back and forth, entertaining affair here, Steph.
Yeah, wild stuff. We're getting a little bit of everything. The highlights are coming, but mostly the intensity, bringing out the tenacity of both these teams because of how equally matched they are and how hard fought this is. Yeah,
it'll be a real test of consistency, I think, after the interval, making sure that you can maintain that level for the whole game. There's that goal-scoring pass there from James Barneville. 8-7 then, Malmö up half-time here. Day 2 at Tom's Tourney.
We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live. And we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc. What a grab! Oh my God! Somehow they do it!
This year, London Invite is bigger than ever, with 8 teams in the Open Division, 8 teams in the Women's Division, and for the first time, a full 8-team mixed division.
With 5 World Games teams, USA, Canada, Australia, Germany, France.
As well as the Tokai Super Team, is sure to be the ultimate showcase of the best in the world.
More teams, more streams, more stars, more ultimate.
More excitement.
You're not going to want to miss London Invite 2025.
Good morning, everybody. Back at Tom's Tourney 2025. Steph nearly missed it because he's trying to banter with some Belgians. It's Benji Reese and Steph Patso here with you on a beautiful Friday morning here in Bruges. Excellent Open Division 2 action for you. A battle between two very upcoming sides. Malmö, of course, from Sweden, and the Belgian U20 Open side.
Benj, I wouldn't miss a beat. And isn't that what we're here in Bruges for, is to have the bant with the Belgians?
Yes, and certainly enjoy some of everything that Belgium has to offer. Yes, that may or may not include some Brugsstart.
Oh, some of the finest.
Oh, deep cut's gone, and Panemans has absolutely gunned it. Can he catch up with this? Not quite. Panemans, he saw the option, an ambitious throw, but just didn't quite have the finesse it needed at the end. It just kept on racing away.
I'm impressed by the throw still. Like, he threw it to a receiver who was already in the third, at least halfway through or midway on the field. Launched it from his end zone, but just threw that really hard. Too much spin, not high enough, so it didn't have a chance to float.
Yeah.
But wow, impressive power on the huck, but missed the calibration for the reception on this calling.
If it wasn't abundantly clear, Panemans has a live arm. Samo underneath, trying to find the strike cut. Are they? No, because it clears out space for the inside flick to Drennan. Cheeky high release and then sending this out to space on the near side. Excellent footwork there. Nice toe drag from Danielson. Nice field sense. Bid comes in. Fake on the flicker, then the backhand. Now looking for some throw and go. Really clever little switch pass off, but they are able to sneak that through back to Drennan. And injury called, I think. Or timeout, in fact. So both sides get 1 timeout to use per game. And Malmö, with an opportunity to take the first 2-point advantage of the contest, are opting to use theirs here.
Yeah, it's a huge opportunity, of course, to be able to break out of half. They just went up won the Galaxy point, get a early turn. They moved up the field reasonably well, and as soon as they started slowing down and feeling the fatigue, took the timeout. I don't love in-game timeouts still, but I can handle it.
Yeah, I'm not sure about in this position as well, where you're trapped on the sideline. Defects can get something up. There's a couple of seconds in the stall as well, and it always takes a couple of seconds to get into motion, of course, because you cannot move until the disc is checked in. But we'll see what they get cooking up at this timeout when we return here at Tom's Tourney.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
I'm Steph Patso, and I must eat.
Sometimes commentator, sometimes food eater.
On my Ultimate travels in 2023, I sampled culinary classics from all across Europe.
Oh, wow.
Guided by some of your favorite Ultimate players.
That's the Dutch hospitality for you right there.
I'll give you an insight into the secret spots that only the locals know of.
Are these the best schnitzels in Vienna?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course.
Go find Steph Patso on YouTube. Like and subscribe and follow the European Ultimate Must Eat series.
We are Hive Ultimate, a group of players and coaches from all over the world working together to progress the next generation of Ultimate strategy. We've helped top teams win world championships and new teams introduce the sport in a fun and inclusive way. Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn more about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
Back at Tom's Tourney, Malmö coming in off this timeout. This is going to be checked in on that far sideline. Immediately, pass was a little bit behind Sabo, but he catches it again. Slightly awkward reach, but made by Andreasen. That one is covered, and a huge layup block from Panemans. I did not think that was open, and Panemans confirmed it.
And just another tale of the burn and turn. These timeouts on the sideline, Benji, they have really low tendencies to hit.
So the curse of the turnout has come to Malmö. Can Belgium take advantage? Very demonstrative fakes and just enough angle to take that past the bidding Sabo. Now down the sideline, a little bit of loft on it, and it's perfectly in stride for Belgians, who hold and they fortify to the delight of the home crowd. We're knotted with a pair of snowmen on the board at 8 apiece.
Benji, I was waiting to say that. You're taking my lines, but Panemans took it upon himself. That layout D was phenomenal. I'm just going to go back to the timeout. I really do not like it. Like I said, I can handle it. In the last one, I understand it, but it's the start of the second half. You just had a break, so fatigue shouldn't be the issue. So what is forcing players into believing that this is a great time to take a timeout is what is perplexing me by now. Like most coaches, a well-coached team should be hearing from their coaches to be saving these timeouts, particularly in a tournament like this. You get one timeout. Let's get a momentum breaker timeout, or let's get a legitimate end of game. Like we need this, or let's get the disc to the middle of the field into scoring position in a centering spot, and then take the timeout. But otherwise, do not love that sideline in-game timeout.
Yeah, when you've got one a game, you have to be so judicious as to where you use it. That's not so judicious, though. A roaster of a backhand downfield, and it was right in stride for Otto Edgren. But that is a supreme throw, and quite rightly, Ebbe Algren gets all the plaudits.
Yeah, Algren wound up and fired that one on a rope. Scintillating offense. That's one way to keep the commentators quiet who are criticizing the timeout. Come back to the next point and fire a laser from precisely the same spot. Next time you're on that sideline, do this again.
Yeah, honestly, why not?
Yeah, because that was a frozen rope.
Now, Steph, during that toss timeout, we did see a little teaser of your YouTube series.
Yes.
Steph Putt So Must Eat.
Yes.
Where was the first episode of that?
The very first episode, well, I think you mean the second episode. The very first episode was Padova. The second episode was right here in Bruges with Boris Vanderlook and the fam. Anna, Mom, helped out with everything. Cooked us, but a wonderful moule frite, mussels and fries. We had some Da Vinci ice cream. It was a wonderful introduction to the culinary delights of Bruges.
Panemans is shooting again. This time he looks like he's got a lot more loft on it. It's going to require the layout, and there was never really any doubt on it either. Delanot with a little kick spike. It gets the plaudits from his teammate. Belgium are beginning to get stuff cooking now as well.
Wow. That was something special, I tell you. Love the throw option. Love the late boost. This is just a dogfight right now. They're going back and forth, taking a punch in the mouth, giving a punch in the mouth, and this shot, another beautiful huck, floats well, but that layout, he went trailing edge too. He almost over pursued it once he got airborne and had to come at it from the back. Of course, that's safer too for the catch. If you can get your hand all the way around to the front side of the disc like was done. Great play, Belgium. 9-9 in this first round barn burner.
That was really awkward because Fredrickson had to take evasive action, so he didn't get hit by the pool, which probably made the reception a little bit trickier. Shaping for the big one, but they're just being forced to work short at the moment. The Belgians a bit more predicated on taking away the deep strike on this possession. Oh, miscommunication on the goal line. Belgium are going to play it slow.
Short field now. That was a costly error, putting Belgium into the driver's seat late game. About 15 to play.
And then, oh, that is unorthodox. And it works, I must say. It's not the option I would have taken. The blade to the backhand side. The edge makes that such an awkward reception. But the Belgians made it work, and they have wrestled themselves back on top with 3/4 of the clock elapsed. 45 gone. It's 10-9.
I didn't even see that cut available. I'm not sure how the thrower did, but a beautiful sighting, good vision, and an even better distribution. That forehand blade was sharp and exceptional. De force, I'm not sure that is de force, but the throw absolutely on point.
I mean, that is a really tricky catch to make, and he deserves a huge amount of credit for sticking it so confidently. So Belgium back on top here, taking advantage of the relative freebie they were gifted by their opponents. Identified the double coverage, blew through it, and found that poached player. Now underneath, into the centre, maybe looking for the dish off. No, instead, faking big, doesn't see it, resetting again to Fredrickson.
Oh.
Pressure rising a little bit. Edgren. Bardeville just ensures he's in bounds. Fredrickson clears out, resets well covered. Has to go wide, laterally, plucked down by Algren. Looking for more handler movement. Not a huge amount going on downfield. Everything in the backfield at the moment for the Swedes. Will they try and burst their way out of it? No. Again, just keeping it short. That handling core, happy to just keep it moving, ticking it over until they can get a bit more of an aggressive option. That one into the centre, took advantage of the defender on the far side. Oscarson finds Fredrickson, a very methodical possession. And there, the trigger is pulled, aggressive towards the far side. What a catch, extension. I thought Fredrickson had overthrown it. Max Armstrong clearly disagreed, brings it in, doesn't even need to wear the sunglasses, could just perch them atop his head. It's tense.
Just a hair accessory at this stage. You're right. I thought that was an overthrow. I thought the Belgians' defense was consistently tight enough throughout that point. They were making Malmö sweat, making them work for sure. A lot of good dance moves here to get open. They had to work really hard. That's a great look at what Fredrickson was seeing there and how that cut developed, and a heck of a play to go out and get it and haul it in when it was thrown just, maybe beyond what we thought was reach, but to the limits of reach. And, knowing your teammates, knowing what you can throw to certain receivers, knowing what they might give you is a big part of this game. And your ability to, use the limits of these receiving boxes and player range to cash in goals.
I think that's a good defensive point though for Belgium. Again, really slowed down Malmö, forced them to be more methodical, and then forced, which is probably a higher risk option on the scoring pass. This ball's going to sail out of this near sideline, and Panamans will get it from the brick mark. Looking like a 3-4 horizontal setup here for the host nation. Got a lot of valuable reps in this week, regardless of how they eventually finish. Paddleman's around. Lays that one through into the centre. Paddleman's looking at things developing in front of him. Morleon. Going wide. Nice low catch made there. Onganet. Little toss over the top to Paddleman's. Immediately wants to get on the attack. Don't quite clear out of that space fast enough. So instead they'll run it through the Handlerson a few yards away. And then down the sideline. Onganet catches for the score. 11-10.
Great play by the Belgians again. Good, quick movement. Another bit of variation from their offensive look. Going into some small ball, keeping that disc moving, changing the angles. Onganet. There's a couple Wolf Panemans again stepping up to the stage, taking on the weight of the offense time and time again here, being the initiator, being the first touch every time, and throwing with more and more confidence as the points and game goes on.
I like the dynamism that the Belgian backfield shows, because you know they're not particularly static handlers. They throw it and they're on the move again. They want to get the disc back in the hands, play with a little bit more tempo rather than stand and deliver style players. I will say that for all of the big names we had on stream yesterday, a lot of those games may be flattered to deceive somewhat when it came to not necessarily the intensity, but just the and of how even a lot of those contests were. So far, this game has been everything and more. Really refreshing way to start the day. Here's Edgren to Fredriksson. Has an option in the centre of the field. It's Edgren again. Looking for something downfield, struggling to find someone free. And so on a high stall, looks for the reset. Staff declared. Thought he might have had it, but there is a call here by Barneville.
Now, I will say right away before we see a replay, I thought that was clean.
Oh, really? Oh, my initial instinct was that Barneville had it.
Okay, let's have a look.
Oh, you know, I think he might get a fingertip in there first. I think you're right.
I stand by I think he got that. I think he touched his finger, though, and that's the difference.
At the very rate, they are happy on the field for it to be a Malmö possession. And this one, again, pressure really wrecking up for the Belgians, but just there a split second too late so far on this point. Couple of close calls, and then a bump on the mark.
These calls getting a little bit eager now.
Yeah, it's weird because we've had a relatively, swift, clean game so far, and then just, 3 fouls on, 2 passes, really. Now trying to get it on the run. He's got the space up line. Good work by the force there just to drop off. But they're trying to play it through. They've got someone peeling off the back. Can they get there in time? No! Because Edgren rises above the defender who smartly dropped off into that space, but it wasn't enough, and Malmö make it 11 apiece.
Now that blows my mind. The Edgren's speed was incredible there. The peel-off defense had, 7 to 10 meters in front by the time he turned and recognized where that route was going and that it was coming into his neighborhood, and still couldn't get turned and up to speed in time to slow down Edgren, who came screeching in and then, went up and took with precision as well.
I think that's the thing for me, that even though the defender recognized it and had the position, it just took them a little bit of time to get up to speed, but Edgren obviously had that the rolling start, which meant even though they had further to go, they're covering up that ground a bit more quickly.
Excellent stuff. 11-11, Benji. We're going to hear the 5-minute warning jingle amidst this song, amidst this point. That'll be the M80 for you.
M83.
You know what I mean, M83. Thanks, Bench. What's the song title? Midnight something?
Midnight City.
Midnight City. Do you think that's how Jinx named themselves? Like Wall City? It's like Jinx and Wall City, Midnight City.
Yeah.
That's their song.
I mean, I think M83 are French, but yes, why not? I hear Berlin's going to be good this year, by the way. This body is deep and slap bang in the middle of the goal.
Right on the Tom's Tourney logo there.
In the Open Tourney. Panamans begins the slow march to the brick block.
Ah, there it is, Bench. 5 minutes to play.
Handler on this near side slashes through. Back into the backfield with a little bit of traffic there. Delanotta working with Panamans. Now De Freya. Yeah, the Belgians have shown good restraint here. Not necessarily been too Belgian with some of their throwing options. I'm sure those of you who have not seen enough Frisbee understand what I mean. Panamans that time, has the pocket picked by Sabo. He's been the main defensive fire starter for Malmö. If you're going inside, you've got to go early, because if you don't go and you go late, well, the defender's in position and they can get the block, because they did, and Sabo committed to it. Edgren's come over to the D-line, and now he's shooting, fading it away, looking for the height match towards that far sideline, and it is well shot to Max Almström for the Malmö break. That was ruthless. 12-11.
A very important and huge late game break. The Svabo takeaway, the layout D, massive, and the finishing grab in the air. This momentum take at this stage is a tough one for Belgium.
And this is just a really smart shot, because it's okay. If I want this, how have I got to set this throw up? How have I got to edge it? And he uses that roll curve to take it over the defender and out of his path, always leading his receiver towards the break side. So obviously the defender's going to be on the back shoulder. Here's a look at the block, Steph.
Yeah, Svabo just made a great play, got off his feet early enough. But the throw was a little bit behind, I'll say.
It's just the timing for me. I understand it, but it's too late. If you're going to do that, it's got to go instantly. And if you don't, it's inside early, around late. That's the fundamentals of what I was taught about breaking a force.
These are good fundamentals, Benji, to impart on our listeners.
Delanotta. On the move into the backfield. Threatening the deep option now. Panamans centres. De Crena, there's a player gone, and De Crena this time says, you know what, we can holster. Probably wisely. Panamans just takes advantage of the defender looking the other way to get Delanotte open. Slashing through underneath out of the vertical stack, and then again the face mark proves decisive, because they can sneakily slide that in to Staff De Crena to tie us at 12s.
Yeah, number 65's forehand OI used to precision once
it's a
again.
weapon.
Very differently deployed this time, but it was the same throw. That over the top blade, it comes at you quick. This time De Crena had steps and just took him around the defender with the shape of the throw. Beautiful throw. De Crena did the job he's always doing to get free, to get a step. And you see the defender, Danielson, spinning his head still, trying to triangulate, trying to see if the throw is coming. And by the time he noticed it was He turned his head back upfield, and De Craan had steps, and a moment later, a disc in his hands. Into our 59th minute, and we're tied at 12.
Depending on how quickly this point goes in, could still be game to 15. Game to 14 is probably more likely. Edgren struggling to find a reset until a high stall before Algren provides that support. Pick will bring a halt to proceedings, and the disc will go back to Algren. Underneath, Edgren doesn't want the shots to Fredriksson. Algren down the line with a trailing edge, and he rolls right back up into position. Sees the open underneath and wisely takes it. McLean. Sneaks that one through. There is the hooter. Berger. Cheeky little one across. Edgren. Oh my word! Where's that come from? Just somehow lays the blade over the top, sees the traffic, finds a way around it. McLean with the emphatic spike afterwards. 13-12 to Malmö in a game to 14.
Well, another showing of craftiness by the Swedes with their throwing range here. Good patience, I thought. That was a long point. High pass count in that point, and for these late game points to have to go through the hands that regularly, you know, these are the most tense moments of the games. This is where the nerves are high. This is where you overthink every touch, and I thought they did a very good job of maintaining their composure, finding the open man, and you see the spike to finish there as you get your drone look at how that all went down aerially.
13-12, the Malmö lead, and we're going to be seeing Malmö up next on the live stream as well.
Wait, they're playing 2 times in a row?
No, it's the women's division up next. They are up against Sharks from Barcelona. De Crane. Big wind up, but throw not delivered, just going short instead. Della Nota. De Crane works his way through the quagmire to come free underneath. Foul called.
I did see it. Staff De Crane had the left arm shiver, pushing off Svabo just a little bit, but it was, that left arm was out. And I can understand why Svabo wanted to make the call early before he'd used it to get away.
On this sideline now with Molion. Bit of air underneath it as he goes around wide to Panemans. Panemans, cheeky one, that leading Della Nota to this near side. De Crane underneath. And just being sensible, staying cool, calm and collected. There's near the sideline, they could force this in. It draws the double coverage, and Staff De Crane is wide open. And I'm not sure there's anyone on this roster I'd want less to have all that space in the end zone. 13 apiece. It's Universe, Steph. What a way to start the day.
It is indeed. What a way. You said a cheeky throw. I thought it was a fearless throw to be able to throw those blind looks around the defenders leading into space. This one, no, not this one here. It was earlier in the sequence. And the rest of the way, though, and this great look at 3 defenders sucked onto the one upline cut here. Watch it again. If you look up here now, the one cut, everyone gets sucked into that, leaving Staff De Crane wide open towards the middle of the field. He cashes in. We're playing to 14. 26 points played, Benji. Only this one matters now.
Yeah, next goal wins. It's classic playground stuff.
Game to 1.
Let's have it. Looks like a relatively first choice O-line for Malmö. For the Belgians, no surprise that they've got maybe a little bit more of a hybrid out here, needing not only just to get the turn, but understanding the importance of capitalising afterwards. Fredriksson fields from the floor, and the first pass is to Algren. On the near side, McLean. Back to Fredriksson. Couple of players in a similar space, but Edgren is able to get it and then resets back to the bespectacled Fredriksson. Lays it up into the centre, a bit of float, not a problem for the big man, Alström. Alström hucking deep, hat's going to come off and it's going to drop right into the breadbasket. You could not have handed it to him any better. James Barneville on the reception. Heck of a huck to break Belgian hearts, and Malmö win a stunner 14-13. What a way to start the day, Steph.
Indeed, a wild finish. Belgian hearts are broken indeed on that one. They played so hard. Very deserving to have a chance to win. I think they did a good job to work their way into a universe point situation, but you got to give it to Malmö. They kept responding. They kept coming back. They had good variation. I was not expecting a huck on a universe point like this, but they again show their fearlessness, very little hesitation, very little thought. They saw the opening, pulled the trigger, and they reaped the benefits, getting a win, going 3-1 in the division now. And you see some of the Bordeaux sideline here. They're the team that's ahead in that division, the undefeated. So they're coming to check out, see what's happening with the two next best competitors in the division. So things heating up in Group E in the Open 2 division.
Yeah, Malmö still have to play Bordeaux, whereas for the Belgium U20s, their last game is against Air Support, so very much all to play for still in this Pool E, one of the 4 pools of 6 in Open Division 2. Right, we're going to finish things up here, turn around, because we are back in action in under 10 minutes' time. We've got the Malmö women's side taking on Sharks from Barcelona, and it'll be Hannah Pendlebury and Jamie Rabbit on the call for you for that one. From all of us here at ULTI.TV and Stefan Rapazzo alongside me, Benji Rees, we'll see you on the other side.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.